I don't think a singular Denver Broncos fan could have seen this coming from the time that Sean Payton took over this team to the point that we are at now. I don't think anybody could have seen the domination, the utter turnaround of this franchise at all. And on this episode of the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, my name is Moose, by the way. Welcome in. I'm going to tell you why the Denver Broncos Super Bowl window is officially open in a big way and why it's staying open. Recent Broncos news looks like this. The Broncos now have their entire offensive line under contract until at least the end of next season. That's great. We're going to break that down here. The sack numbers for the Denver Broncos are far superior to 2015 Super Bowl winning team. And if you didn't know, the current cap space for 2026, 10th in the NFL. Translation, this team is only going to get better. And that's why you subscribe. Who says Moose can't be optimistic? Maybe it's Ben from Sports Talk Denver. Optimism rubbing off on me a little bit. Do yourself a favor, though. If you love the entertaining, informative Denver Broncos content and you want us to hit our very first major milestone of 50,000 subscribers, hit that big red sub button today. Now let's break down exactly why I'm talking about this continuity on the offensive line, because I saw a lot of people get into the comment section yesterday and say, did we overpay for Luke Wattenberg? The answer might be yes, but that's not always a bad thing. Overpaying for a player doesn't always mean poor results. It just means you were not ready to mess with the feng shui of whatever positional group that player was in. Perfect example, offensive line. All five of these guys know exactly what each other does well and what each other does not do well. And remember, this is without Ben Powers. Ben Powers is still on IR recovering from that bicep injury. Sometimes it's okay to overpay for a player if it means keeping the core unit of guys strong together. All of these guys protect Bo Nix. They know what Bo likes to do. All of them understand Sean Payton's scheme and what Sean wants them to do. This is exactly why George Payton went out and overpaid. If you're going to overpay players, at least make it so you overpay the positional group that is one of the best in the NFL. And the Broncos have a top 3, maybe top 2 offensive line currently in the league. So I'm not upset at all with George Payton's decision to go out and do this. I think we also forget the Broncos drafted Wattenberg in the 5th round of the 2022 draft. And now he's the 6th highest paid center in the league. That's value. So even if Wattenberg isn't your favorite center, and is he the very best in the NFL? No, far from it. But I think we can all agree that a guy that has literally allowed 0 sacks this year, has a very respectable PFF grade, both in run blocking and in pass blocking, and has taken over 700 snaps, is easily something that we could all agree upon and say, yeah, okay, maybe we should have paid him a good amount of what he was asking for. And like I said, this is all about the continuity. That's what this is. It's not about making sure that Luke Wattenberg specifically is staying in Mile High. It's about keeping everybody together. And I'm sure Luke Wattenberg's agent, I'm sure he himself were like, hey, we want to know that we're taken care of. And George thinking to himself, okay, well, I can lock him up, have everybody locked down for the next 2 years. Why not? Why not? He's been a great Bronco. He's protected Bo Nix. I think everything's okay. Penalties be damned. 5 of them against the Cincinnati Bengals, which was probably and not arguably one of the worst games of his career. So again, I'm not worried about this whatsoever. And if we go back to the statistics, I can just as easily say these numbers are exceptional. 750 snaps total this season. 0 sacks allowed. Run blocking grade, 68.4. Pass blocking grade, 65.5. So you tell me when you look at these numbers that this guy isn't at least worth a bigger contract extension. But it isn't just about the one. It's about collectively, the trenches, building those up. And this is what it's going to look like for the next couple years to come, which means you don't have to worry about it. And that's another reason why the Super Bowl window is open. So if you had to rate the Broncos offensive line, 1 being the worst that it could possibly get, 5 being the best that it could possibly get, I'm giving it like a 4.8. I don't know if I can give it a perfect 5 because nobody's perfect, but it's about as damn close to perfect as you can get. Either way, you let me know in the comment section down below. Brand new sponsor here on the channel, Cash App. And the holiday season, you got to be on the high alert for scammers. I've got one currently going on for my hometown about my car's extended warranty, and yet I don't have my car registered in the state of Illinois, which is absolutely insane. But the holidays are all about finding that perfect gift. But this time of year, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more creative, by the way, to trick people into sharing their payment info through methods like fake shopping sites and giveaways that are just too good to be true. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity should someone gain access to your card, so you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly right from the app for extra control and peace of mind. Stay one step ahead of scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download the Cash App, use our exclusive referral code, SECURE10, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. So through the first 10 weeks of this 2025 season, I know we've played 11, but let's just go back a week before the Denver Broncos played the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos had 46 sacks to the 2015's defense of 34 sacks. Why is that significant? This Broncos pass rush, by the numbers, is far better than the Super Bowl winning teams. Now, I get it. That defense was unbelievable. I'm not comparing the two of them. But if I look at the amount of depth that this Broncos edge room has, it is far deeper than I think we've seen in a long, long time. I mean, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, the two fastest get-off times of any edge rushers in the entire NFL this season. And then add in players like Jonah Ellis, Dondre Tillman, and Q Robinson, all three of those guys, incredible special teams players as well. And then let's move fast forward to after the Kansas City Chiefs game. The sack differential now after the Chiefs game growing even more exponentially. Denver has a plus 36 sack differential in the first 11 games. That's the most in the NFL by a long shot. A long shot. And that's great. That is going to carry you through the remainder of the playoffs. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, Moose, you can't compare the 2015 defense to this 2025 defense if you're only going to mention the pass rush. Well, situationally speaking, the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL as well. Third down defense, number one in the NFL at 28.9%. Red zone defense, number one in the NFL, 35.7%. And the sack percentage of just plays that quarterbacks drop back to the amount of times that Denver sacks a quarterback, 11.2%, which is not only the best in the NFL, it's the highest since the stats started getting recorded. So you tell me about all-time defense, man. This defense can compare at least somewhat to the 2015 defense. There's no doubt about it. It's also the best three-and-out defense I've ever seen. No, not just from a Denver Broncos defense. That I've ever seen. If I had to take one defense from the time I started watching football back in, 2005, if I had to go back 20-something years, this team and maybe the Seattle Seahawks defense, Legion of Boom, as the best 3 plays, you're off the field. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I got to give a shout out to these specific players. This is the Broncos defense that just strikes fear into the hearts of other offenses. And the weather only gets worse. The defense that's already stout is going to get more stout. So do me a favor, show some love. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up icon for this 2025 Denver Broncos defense. We're going to end today's show by talking about the cap space situation. And finally, the Russell Wilson contract is kind of a thing of the past. So we can open up the cap space book and we could start actually signing players that can make this team go from, hey, we're Super Bowl contenders to Super Bowl favorites. I want to highlight something really, really quickly. I found this on Over the Cap. You'll love this website. It basically shows you every single team's cap space from here in 2025, basically until 2029. And it goes like 4 seasons in advance. This is 2026's cap space currently. These are subject to change, obviously. But here's the chart. The Broncos, if you notice, they're 10th in the NFL in current cap space at just under $50 million. And obviously that number can go up, that number can go down after the season ends. Players leave, players get new contract extensions. Obviously all these are subject to change. But think of the players that you could sign. Think of the players that you could add to this football team in free agency, not just the draft, and free agency to make this team that much better. There's so many of them. And I'm going to give you 4 right off the bat that I think could immediately help this team. David Njoku at the tight end position. Yeah, please. We've talked a lot about him on the channel. George Pickens, are you kidding? Probably not going to happen. He'll probably end up staying in Dallas, but he's a free agent after this year. You could make an aggressive offer. Breece Hall, in the event that you didn't want to sign J.K. Dobbins or re-sign J.K. Dobbins, I think that's a mistake. I want J.K. Dobbins on this team. But there is one guy that I think you could go out and sign pretty much immediately as soon as the offseason starts, and that's DJ Reader. Wait, why DJ Reader, and who is this guy, Moose? Well, he's literally a space eater. I don't call him DJ Reader. I call him the space eater. 6'3", 335 pounds. NFL veteran, and we already know that John Franklin Myers probably not going to get the contract extension this year that he's craving. This is a player that's only going to cost you probably right around $10 million. And if you want to know what his game is, space eater. Take a look at the stats this year. He doesn't blow you away with sacks. He doesn't blow you away with tackles for loss, but he just plugs holes. 14 pressures, 3 quarterback hits, a pass rush grade of 65, and a run defense grade of 60.1. His better days are behind him in the sense of, like, is he in his prime? No. But he is one of those players that could be a very nice John Franklin Myers replacement if the Broncos end up not re-signing him. So I would much rather prefer somebody that can eat up that space as well as get to the quarterback, and think of what he could do in the Vance Joseph system. This, by the way, is only the beginning. There's so much time for the Broncos to get better and better and better. I don't think a single fan would have seen this type of season this year. Last year, making the playoffs, excellent. Now it's about, like we were saying, okay, we got to get back to the playoffs and win a playoff game. Now we're talking Super Bowl aspirations. Think about what kind of testament that is to the Sean Payton Broncos. I think it's excellent. Hats off to George Payton. Hats off to Sean Payton, the defense, Bo Nix, and the entire organization as a whole. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. I will be back a little bit later on tomorrow with some interesting cuts that we did with Sports Talk Denver. I'll see you on Sunday for our game against the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Have a very, very happy holiday and happy Thanksgiving. And as always, Broncos country, a mile high salute. Be cool.